I was born in Brooklyn, Greenpoint, Brooklyn, a big Polish neighborhood. When I was, elementary years, I forget exact, I think about second grade, moved out to the suburbs of Long Island.
Okay. Where in Long Island?
Suffolk County.
Suffolk
Sayville,
County.
yeah.
I lived in Massapequa for a little bit.
There you go. So you know exactly suburb I'm talking about.
Yeah, I did like 6 months there when I was at Whole Foods.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I know
nice.
some of the listeners, I've said this before, but yeah, I was out that way.
Gotcha.
And then I was in that little town near near JFK.
In Nassau?
No, I moved from Massapequa out.
Oh, out more like towards the boroughs.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
So I was out that way, and then I moved back to Danbury. Long Island's not for me. I have family out there too that live in Rockville Center.
Bro, it ain't cheap. I'll tell you that much.
I was in an Airbnb. One bedroom. It was $1,200 a month for one bedroom, no kitchen, nothing. It's crazy.
Bro, I mean, me and my business partner, we have a big real estate background.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to rentals, house rentals, private landlords. In our area in Suffolk County, you can't find a 2-bedroom apartment less than $2,800 a month.
It's nuts.
It's disgusting, and it just what it does. It gives no opportunity for anybody else. If you're not sticking, to the script of life, and getting your degree, getting your job, getting this, you're struggling. It's a nightmare out there. So it's definitely not the ideal place for the average person to live, without a doubt.
What kind of family did you have? 2 parents, siblings? What was the dynamic?
I have a older sister and a younger brother who's autistic. Growing up in Brooklyn, after my parents got divorced, my mother got remarried, and we moved out to Long Island just to, for them to give us a better life. So definitely grew up in a, I'll say this, we grew up in one of the liliest white neighborhoods you can possibly imagine. Mommy and daddy, everybody's parents made over $400 large a year combined. All my friends in high school got brand new cars off the lot when they got their license, the whole 9 yards. But did I get all of that? No. I lived in an upper middle class neighborhood, but my parents were kind of bringing us to reality, so to speak. So I'm glad they gave me that level sense of mind, so to speak.
So were your parents were successful in a way?
Oh yeah. Once my stepfather adopted us and really took us as a family under his wing, he was actually a head chef at John's Pizzeria in Manhattan.
Oh.
So he was big time chef for decades, but he wanted to stay closer to the family, so he cut the traveling and actually, believe it or not, got into the coffee business. So we're a big coffee family. So he was raking in the dough, selling coffee out of Mineola in Nassau.
Now, we hear a lot on the show individuals who come from not so much of a well-off family that get divorced, and that has an impact. Coming from your dynamic, did the divorce have any impact on you?
Oh, it definitely did in the long term. I'll say that. I was, before I woke up in life, I was one angry kid, which led to my said vacation into incarceration, so to speak. It definitely did. So it was ugly. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't like it was all, flowers and rainbows. It was a nasty divorce. It was a nasty relationship between all parties involved, step and direct parents. And, between traveling and stuff like that, visitations. It was a nightmare. But, in the end, as I got older, obviously I realized, everybody sort of meant well, I would say. But luckily, we got through all of that. Eventually, my real father just ceased any conversation or contact with me and my other siblings. And it kind of helped, believe it or not, in a weird way. It got away all the toxic crap and helped our family focus a little more.
Do you think that the divorce had more of an effect on you than it did your siblings because you were the one that ultimately got into trouble?
I'd say that. I mean, I definitely would because I bottle it up, I guess. That was the best way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I played a lot of sports in high school, so it helped me release that anger, but there was always something under that. So I would definitely say me, especially because I have a autistic brother who, and I don't mean autistic on the spectrum. This is 26-year-old with the mind of a 6-year-old for life. Can never be alone. So he didn't really understand everything, but when it came to my sister, she kept it closed into herself. But for me, I'd say in the long run, it definitely hit me hard because I bottled it up, so to speak, yeah.
Do you think that feeling of anger was building up inside of you even before the divorce, and the divorce brought it out, or do you think it stemmed strictly from the divorce?
No, it was definitely directly from the divorce because they got divorced, my real father and my mother, when I was at a young age. I was, I think, third grade, something like that, second grade. So, believe it or not, my stepfather and my real mother wound up getting divorced too, so I went through it 2 times. But the first one was definitely what caused the rage, the anger, so to speak, for sure.
When you were going through this angry period of time, how would your friends that were closest to you describe you?
Insane. I was the guy, back in high school, it was different back then. We're around the same age, I think. I'm 33.
You got 4 years on.
There you go. So I'm 33, so... when I was in high school, things were a lot more lackadaisical. Parents let their kids drink a lot more. Hey, I know where you are. Okay, go ahead, do your thing. Just give me a call if you need anything. So we were wild, very wild. And I was just a step wild. When I got drunk, I didn't get angry. I just got crazy, meaning dancing, throwing stuff, having a good time. When I was on the field, specifically football and lacrosse, I was angry. I was just vicious, meaning I didn't want to hurt anybody, so to speak, but I needed to take it out on something, so to speak. So that's where I filtered my anger, I guess. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, times really have changed. Like I've been doing this mentoring, the youth that have been impacted by the criminal justice system in Danbury, and just going to the school to pick them up. Everything's just different.
Oh, it's so
There's
different.
all these rules. It's a whole different world than what it was, when we were in high school, 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Dude, it's so different. And, Tim's daughter, she's got 4 daughters, by the way.
4 daughters?
No
sons.
No sons. Wow. I guess my business partner, Tim, and my stepfather, who raised me on Long Island pretty much my whole life, they were best friends. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where the dynamic for us came in. So he likes to say, he inherited me as a son he never had, so to speak. So it definitely worked out in the end. But he's got 4 daughters, and one of them has prom today. It's their high school prom. And he was telling a story how, we were talking about on the way here, how they are not even allowed to have party buses or coach buses anymore.
That was like that for us, but you break the rules.
See, when I was in high school, we literally... Each kid pitched in a couple $100,
yep.
Rented out the bus for the whole night. It sat in the parking lot till we left. We threw the driver a couple $100 extra so we can drink in the back, smoke bud in the back. Nowadays, he said they won't even let you in if you're driven privately. You have to take a coach bus from the high school in all your dresses and soup to nuts to the venue. It was never like that for us.
I know it wasn't like that for us either. There are some schools, like the private schools and stuff, they did that to, I guess, prevent. I don't know. It was so silly.
I understand the liability end of it. I do, from the school. If I think that's actually why rules change is kids got drunk, got hurt on the bus, whatever it may have been. But
now kids can't even hang out at the mall anymore without getting kicked out.
Tell me about it.
That's what they pay the security for, to make sure no one take it out.
Plus far worse possible things that can happen in those places these days too.
It really has changed.
It's so different, and you look and you're like, just wow. I remember when I was in Brooklyn, we used to hang out on the stoop, walk down the street. Our parents didn't follow us when I was 4 or 5 years old. Nowadays, I don't have kids, but I ain't letting them do that. When I do, it's just a whole nother level.
Do you want kids?
I do eventually. It's just, I had to focus on me because I was my late teens into mid-20s. I was just the fuck up, so I had to focus. I made the decision one day finally where enough's enough. I got to focus. And, I was a big long-term relationship guy. I only had, a couple girls in my life, but they were long-term. So I'm like, I got to stop trying to please them and just please myself, please God, and just get my shit together. That's what it came down to.
I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of people that can relate to you because there's so many people that that do the same things that you've done and been through and felt the same way, but they don't get in trouble.
Right.
That's they don't get caught, and they all have that because we all, especially males, when they're young, and there's females that have their own set of problems, but when we're that young, we do shit. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get caught for when I was a kid, or my friends didn't get caught for.
You can have a whole week of episodes with that, right?
We had so crazy stuff. We used to pull people over, and we would take my dad's SUV and go to Spencer's and get a strobe light, turn it to blue and red, and we'd go find the house parties we weren't invited to, and then pull our friends over
Imagine you got caught for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's so much shit. But my point is, everyone does that.
Right.
You know, now, like, I was talking to one of the kids, and they're like, you get arrested at the school for silly stuff.
Oh, it's crazy.
You know, they're making arrests left and right.
You write something wrong on a bathroom stall, you're done. I mean, why would you anyway? That's a whole nother story. But
well, the big thing in Connecticut now is someone's vandalizing. They put tampon dispensers in the boys' bathroom. So someone vandalized it, and
oh man,
and the Connecticut's going crazy over it.
That's wrong.
Yeah, so regardless of how someone feels about it, you know, it's crazy that they're prosecuting the kids and this and that. I don't know. It's just
way worse things to focus on than that, no doubt about it. But it just goes to show how much the world's changed, bro.
Even cell phones. Like, I'm reading articles now too in Connecticut where they're banning cell phones and smartphones in schools.
Wow.
And stuff like that. But you know, it really is something. So you were good in sports, lacrosse?
Yeah, I played primarily football and lacrosse. I was a late bloomer. I didn't start. Everybody, you know, youth leagues they have, you know, PAL leagues. I really didn't have that. I just, when it was time for me to focus on something other than my issues and my problems with the homestead, so to speak, I needed to do something. So I started with baseball, killed it with that. Then I couldn't beat anybody up in baseball. So I converted to football and lacrosse, which everybody knows definitely more physical. So yeah, I played all throughout high school. Brought multiple championships, both lacrosse and football. Many all-state honors, the whole spiel and everything. You know, don't get me wrong, that does nothing for you in real life. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it was good. It was good to focus on something and have something to look forward to. You know, I guess in my early years, I liked to, believe it or not, I enjoyed kind of going to school and getting away, just because of I was with other friends and I had sports to look forward to. And at the end of the day, you're like, shit, I gotta go home. Okay, let me go to bed as soon as I can. You know what I'm saying? So,
were you an asshole lax, bro?
I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, in the party way, not really. You know, I was kind of it was weird. I was an outcast because, like I said before, you know, a lot of the kids in my neighborhood, mommy, daddy got everything for them. Lots of money. Hey, mom, I need $100. Okay, you know, it was like that. I really didn't have that. So I was like, they were going right and I was not following the herd left. And that was kind of the same way I was with my athletic community. A lot of my boys were dirtbags. You know, at house parties, they'll pick on the little one. They'll fuck with somebody in the school in the hallways. I really wasn't like that. I actually got along with everybody. On the field, though, I was a prick, for sure. Definitely. Football and lacrosse field, I was a prick, for sure.
Did you go to college to play, or did you not make it that far?
I did, which inevitably led me to where I am and how I got up in the system. But, you know, I was a C and D student. All my friends in high school, they were A and B, got academic scholarships, went on to, you know, Marist, Providence, all these reputable places. I was not that one of them. I just wanted to go somewhere hey, I think I have to go to college. I ain't getting it with my grades, so my athletic ability is going to get me there. So eventually, in one of the Empire State games for lacrosse, we had a handful of scouts, you know, were there, and I got picked up by a couple guys that wanted me, so I eventually decided on a Division II school out in Long Island. Unfortunately, how do I say it? I was making the decision based off my then high school sweetheart. So I could have been in FSU in their lacrosse program on their, you know, it was a secondary program. I could have went to Marist. I could have went anywhere with my athletic ability. They would have made it happen. It's just my girlfriend was going to a school 20 minutes away. So I said, oh, they're offering me something? Let me take that. And so I did get an athletic scholarship to NYIT out in Long Island.
Do you think that your life would end up the way it is now had you went to a different school? Or do you think that the path would have crossed regardless?
I mean, it's tough to say because there were so many intricate things involved in my situation, but I'd probably say that eventually I would have fucked up somewhere. Now, to this extent that happened, I don't know, but I was never a school student. I was never a student. I was only there, I knew, because, I got to do something with my life, but I might as well have fun, party, and play lacrosse and do it at the same time. I never really had a focused plan. So because of that, and I was just there going through the motions, so to speak, I think eventually something would have happened. To this extent, I'm not too sure.
So what actually ends up happening in college that gets you into trouble?
Okay, all right. So this was, mind you, I didn't even make it to my associate's degree. I didn't even make it that far. The first year was very bad, meaning I didn't care about studies. I was messing around in the halls, the conference halls where we had our classes and stuff. My major was psychology. I didn't want to be a psychologist. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I mean, I just picked the most basic thing I could think of. I wasn't picking geometry, or I didn't want to be a teacher. Everybody said, just choose that now and you could change it, your major.
Now everyone just picks business.
That's what I'm saying. Now it's all about business, but it's funny because you don't even need a business degree to be in business. It's the funniest thing. But anyway, we'll get to that later. But so as you can imagine, as you mentioned, Lax Bros before, they were quite the wild parties, I would say. And throughout the whole first year, there were quite a bit of them. I indulged in a lot, which eventually led me to dipping into some other recreational drugs, so to speak. Won't get into too crazy detail, but psychedelics. I partied a lot, so to speak. Didn't focus on anything. So it's funny because all the seniors, I don't know if you're familiar, but all the seniors on the team, they didn't stay on dorms. They rented private houses off campus. They paid a private landlord. They split it with about 3 or 4 buddies. That's how they did it. So normally the parties are real extravagant, meaning you walk into a house in Glen Cove, so to speak, and there's about 10 people, chilling, maybe playing beer pong, and you're like, okay, this is great. But then the host takes you to the back and opens up a basement door, and hundreds of people in a basement raving, black lights everywhere, cement walls, ceilings, 20-foot, crazy rave party that I never thought I'd be a part of. Believe it or not, this was not one of those nights. This was a kind of calmer night. So we're all messed up, and mind you, the night's fuzzy because I was really messed up. But it was a normal house party, about 30, 40 people. And don't remember exactly what ignited it, but there was a crew from another school there. There was our crew from our school there. I think it was over a chick. I'm not too sure. Next thing I know, I start hearing screaming in the basement. Then I hear screaming upstairs. Then I see cans flying. Full beer cans, mind you. Not empty ones. These guys are just chucking full beer cans at each other, connecting them. I'm like, what is going on here? So eventually a crowd just goes outside like, oh, shit. So we all go outside, and then everybody starts going at it. I'm talking, I don't know exact numbers, but I would say at least 10 on 10. Bodies flying everywhere. Fists flying. And then eventually a couple of kids were getting severely hurt. I don't remember much, but I do remember I remember one thing. I was pulling people off, other people, and there was quite a bit of scuffs and blood all over my hand, me specifically. And this is important. That's why I say that. So believe it or not, the night ends. I go into my dorm. I go to school the next couple of days. I finally get a call from a Nassau detective saying, hey, you Charlie? I said, yeah. He says, all right, I'm informing you you're under arrest. Under arrest? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I got to go to class right now. It's like, no, you're under arrest for assault, for a fight that happened. I said, oh, okay. He's like, you got to turn yourself in. You got 24 hours. I said, all right, I got to talk to my parents. He's like, no, you got 24 hours. We can give you a ride if you want. We'll come over. I was like, no, bro. I don't need a whole squad coming to my dorm and taking me out in cuffs. So I went to they kept me in a Nassau, a regular precinct, in a holding cell, chained to a bench for 9 hours without talking to me. Didn't say a word, nothing, not even fingerprints yet. So eventually it got to that point, gave me fingerprints, and then the court situation happened. So my first court date a month later. So I'm sitting there. What is going on? I have no idea. I didn't even get an attorney right away at that point because I wasn't told exactly what the charge was. I was just told it was an assault. Usually at a precinct, they tell you exactly what you're arrested for, exactly the charges, here you go. Nothing. So I finally get to the first court date, and they want to get me for a Class B felony assault. said, felony assault, what does that mean exactly? So they were saying they were looking to give me 5 to 7 upstate for a felony assault. I said, what is going on here? What's going on? So before they went further, they actually brought up, the judge didn't stand up, but the judge said, I have to give a viewer discretion advised, so to speak. If anybody can't handle anything graphic, please leave the courtroom now. So, okay, so believe it or not, a couple people left. I was like, what is going on right now? Okay. One of the kids in the fight was put in a coma with his jaw wired shut and would needed to be wired shut for at least a year. Orbital bones broken, nose cracked, everything displaced, missing teeth, the whole 9 yards. I'm looking at this kid, I almost wanted to cry, because in no way or shape or form did I think I did anything of the sort like that. So moving forward, attorney time, let's go. So luckily, you know, we had to, you know, scrounge everything we had together. You know, we weren't the richest, don't get me wrong, but we talked to family members. They got us a good attorney, and, you know, eventually I was off. First, my lawyer said, do you want to testify in front of the grand jury? I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? He says, well, you got a chance to tell your story, and we can end this right now. He's like, but I want to warn you. They got 3 people. I was like, what do you mean 3 people? They got 3 people that saw you do what you did. 3 people? What are you talking about? We were all fighting. What's going on? I was like, there's no way they could pin a 10-on-10 brawl on one guy. There's no way. So I said, you know what? I'll testify in front of the grand jury. I mean, dumbass decision thinking back at it, because it was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. I don't know if you have been through that, but...
Not the grand jury, but in an actual trial.
Right.
Yeah, normally I don't think they call the defendant in federal cases to the grand jury.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, they just call the witnesses, because at that point they're not looking to make a deal. They just want to indict.
Gotcha, right. So that's how it all started. It was voluntary, you know. I said, sure, let me do it. Boy, that was the scariest shit I've ever done, man. I'm sitting in a room with, I believe it was, 22 of them, 20 of them, something like that. And this ADA was attacking me, bro. I was not expecting it. He's like, oh, tough, literally talking like this. Oh, so thinking you're a tough guy going to college, thinking there's no repercussions, right? I was like, what are you talking about? Well, you know, we got 3 people. You know, he's going through the whole spiel, badgering me, attacking me. And I literally at times, I shit you not, bro, I froze up because I didn't know how to react. So I'm looking at the jurors or the grand jury, and I'm looking at half of them are like snarling at me like, yeah, this guy's gonna get locked up. This guy's full of shit. But the other half's looking at me like, yeah, I can understand. They're asking me how did you get blood all over you and all this stuff, and I couldn't answer it truthfully, bro, because I didn't recollect every single detail. I just remember there were fights. I remember there were fists. I remember there were bodies dropping. I remember I had cuts on my hand. And he was attacking me, you know, badgering me. And sure enough, after 2 hours of doing that, we leave. The next day, I get a call from my attorney. This judge just dismissed this case. I was like, what do you mean dismissed the case? He's like, he told the ADA, absolutely unprofessional, badgering you and attacking you for no reason, barely, because he was talking over me. He wouldn't let me answer properly, and although my answers were shit, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, when you're that messed up on shrooms and alcohol and bud, you know, it's hard to recollect the details, but he was just attacking me, and the judge agreed. And believe it or not, you know, that was the one and only time that judge was on my side throughout this whole process. So I didn't know exactly how it worked, so the judge said, counselor, get your shit together. You got 30 days to bring this case back to me in the right way. I was like, I thought if dismissed meant dismissed. So supposedly there was some vernacular messed up. It wasn't really fully dismissed and all this. Lawyers were talking, whatever. So less than 30 days, they come back with the plea deal, the big plea. Take 5 years probation, or we're taking your ass to trial, and we are maxing you out. 5 to 7, minimum. I said, okay. So, bro, I'm 18 years old. What am I going to do? You know, my parents are like, you can't go to trial. I can't pay another 20 grand for a trial and all this. So I took the plea deal. Mind you, I didn't even know what I was pleading to. I was pleading to assault, but as the judge is talking to me and I'm about to admit guilt on the stand, my lawyer whispers in my ear, Charlie, I forgot to tell you, you got to tell him you did something. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell him I assaulted him. He's like, no. He's going to ask you exactly what you did. It's like, I don't know exactly what happened. He's like, make something up, bro. So this is my attorney, bound by the bar, telling me to make shit up on record. So I made up some shit, said, yeah, I was got in a fight, got on top of the guy, I was pounding this guy's face in. I didn't know what else to say. I was under the gun. So I took the 5-year probation plea. And at that point, I thought my life was getting back on track, but little did I know it led down to even worse.
Do you feel like you were luckier than others just to be offered probation? Because there are a lot of people in this world that go through something similar.
Absolutely.
That end up getting jail time for a first offense.
Absolutely. I was grateful, bro. I was thanking God and my blessings and my parents and all my family members who scrounged this money together. I was grateful. Don't get me wrong. I was grateful that I wasn't heading on a bus upstate. I was so thankful.
How does it make you feel seeing the individuals you work with in your current role who weren't as lucky or able to have that ability to get a lawyer or to get a deal like that?
I tell you, bro, not to get too sentimental, but it fucking hurts. I look at some of these parolees we talk to on a daily basis, bro. When we hit the streets, they're walking out of parole and they're like, bro, you went to trial. Lucky you. I'm forced to take a plea deal. One of the stats that we've come across of our research, almost 99% of trial cases end in plea deals.
That's why the conviction rate's so high.
Conviction rate's 99.6, I think it is. Tim can attest to the numbers. He's better at that. But people are forced into plea deals these days. They have no choice. Even with, I got a good public defender. He's really on my side. How could you even verify that? Their salaries are getting paid by the people coming after you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about the system, that same people that are defending you still work for the people trying to put you away. But I've been interviewing a lot of public defenders and defense attorneys lately, and a lot of them are not too fond of the way the system is now, with all of these attorneys not willing to go to trial.
It's crazy.
And having no trial experience.
It's so true.
If you're out there listening and your attorney is a criminal defense attorney and does not have trial experience, you got to get a new lawyer.
It's scary, bro, because but they're comfortable doing this now. They'll go to 4, 5, 6 years of lawyer school, so to speak, to pass the bar exam to do what? And we were talking to when we were at parole office one day talking to parolees. A lawyer just so happened to be there. He was actually just going into law school. He wasn't a lawyer yet. He's like, what are you guys doing? You're wearing orange. Who the fuck are you guys? So he's wearing a shirt that says Born to Argue. So Tim was having a conversation with them about how constitutional law is dead. It's all contracts now. It's what attorney could get you the best deal. It's not, I'm going to go fight for your freedom at trial. It's, no, you're getting a plea anyway, bro. Let me read the terms of your plea and let's get you the best plea deal. Nobody's even fighting for the trials anymore.
But even beyond that, it's more relationships.
True that.
To get a good deal, you need to have the relationships with the people, and normally, you got to have leverage.
Right.
I just finished watching Your Honor on Netflix, and that does a great job of showing that. That's real. It's all about relationships.
That's so true.
If you have a brand new off the street lawyer and you could pair him to a seasoned lawyer that's been in the same courtroom with the same judge, that lawyer is going to get a better deal than the new guy that just got out of college that hasn't been there before. And
it's so sad. And it's good that people in the system are recognizing this. Don't get me wrong, but it's tough to think. Is it too far gone? It's so much damage has been done that people don't even realize. We talk to people who are affected by the system, but seeing the numbers, seeing the data.
I just spilled
I saw that.
all over this shit.
Well, hey, it's your studio. So,
yeah, I didn't ruin anything over here. Even contract laws. You have ChatGPT. You could literally put in type me a contract, this and that.
You never know what is what, who's writing this, who's doing this, and even evidence is going to be tainted eventually because of AI. We bring a big part of that up in our program. It's like, how do I know a video was a video of that person? Mm-hmm. Listen, I am no way a professional videographer, but I've studied enough and taken enough training to know this could be altered easily. I can implant somebody's face here at this moment in this time in the timestamp.
It's like that fake pornography.
And that's the sickest thing, especially that's why I don't like when, I'm not a big fan, I should say, when people put kids all over the internet, their kids doing videos with their kids, because sickos steal that shit, man, and they'll do whatever they want to that, and there's no ends to what people could do to that. But
did you get kicked out of college when you got arrested?
I didn't get. I got put on a. How should I say this? Technically, out of college, no. Athletic, yes. I got put on a massive probation, but because I was going through the court process and newly on probation with all the fees, which we'll get into, even with my athletic scholarship, I was still paying about $7,000 a semester out of pocket. They just couldn't give me enough funds to cover the whole tuition. It was for a private Division II college. This wasn't anything crazy. It was $48,000 a year. So there was no way this broke ass was affording that. So I eventually, after the first semester ended, the first year ended, I went back like half of the second year of the first semester, and I can't do this anymore. I can't afford it. So I literally just ended it, and I said, all right, let me focus on trying to make money and deal with my probation term. So
now you're put on probation. What happens next? Do you make it the full 5 years? Does something happen?
Definitely did not make it the full 5 years. No. So let's talk about the terms of my probation first, because, although there are people that have gotten probably way worse than I did, I think I got railroaded in my terms. And I think it's because the judge had it out for me, to be honest with you. Who doesn't say that? But anyway.
It's because you're Polish.
It must be. Nobody likes the ski at the end of the last name, bro. It's the way it is.
At the camp I was in, there was like 10 Polish guys, and we called them P1, P2, P3, because they all had the last.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. And mine ain't even that hard. It's just, when the letters are put together in a weird way, it's difficult. But anyway, so I was put on probation 5 years. So this was in Nassau County probation. I lived in Suffolk County. So it was a 40-minute drive every time. I was forced Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to report 3 days a week. 3 days a week, every time I went, I sat there for hours. I didn't know if it was going to be 10 minutes in and out or 3 hours I had to sit and wait. Most of the times it was packed, to be honest, because all of Nassau County probation goes to this one place. And Nassau is pretty decently big. So 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, driving 40 minutes away. Mind you, I had no car. So I had to take public transportation. I had to take a train. That's a round-trip train ticket 3 days a week. That ain't cheap. That's from, out in Suffolk, and it's a 40-minute train ride even to Mineola. Luckily, it was the train station was right at probation, so it was easy to get there. But 3 days a week going there. And then they stuck me into outpatient drug rehab as well, which I could get into a whole blurb about that, how I think that's just a farce in itself. But so putting all that together, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays going to probation 3 days a week in a county 40 minutes away with no car, round-trip train tickets. Top of that, paying restitution. Top of that, 2 days a week drug rehab where I had an $80 copay 2 days a week. That's $160 a week. So all of this put together, I was losing my damn mind, bro. Whoever can get through that, I give you props. It was just really hard on me. So, and I was working too. I was working, off the book jobs. I was doing delivery here, construction labor here, learning some stuff here and there. But I was like, man, this sucks. It sucked. So I made it 2 years. So 2 years, my PO comes to do a home visit out in Suffolk County. He drove 40 minutes, random. Came at like 6 in the morning too. I guess he was trying to catch me. I don't know, whatever. So he came, quick talk. He was only there for 10 minutes. He said, oh, by the way, I just have to let you know your judge, he said specifically, tell Charlie don't expect a day off probation earlier than 5 years, and don't even think about asking about transferring your ass to Suffolk. I said, oh, okay. And I don't know what it was that day. I don't know what it was. It just got into my skin severely, so my PO was like, all right, see you Monday? I said, yeah, see you Monday. Since that day I made that decision, I'm never stepping in probation again, ever. I said, up yours. I stopped reporting. Obviously didn't last long, I'll say that. But I made the conscious decision to violate on purpose, so to speak.
And the violation was not showing up?
Correct.
That's excessive, though. 3 times a week. Were they expecting you to do that the 5 years?
2 years straight I did that. and he told me he didn't even mention like your terms would change. He just said, I talked to your judge the other day. He wanted an update. He said specifically to my PO, tell Charlie this, let him know. Don't come here asking for transfer or getting off early. It ain't going to happen.
That's insane. 3 times a week plus the drug stuff. Oh,
bro, it was, and granted, yes, was I hopped up on shit during my charge? Yes, but it was because I was drunk. And mind you, I was of age on probation at that point. At the end of when I made that decision to violate, I was 21. It was shortly after my 21st birthday. And I was legal. You can't drink. Bro, they got that 80-hour rule. It's insane. You take a half of the beer 80 hours prior to your drug test, they'll know you drank. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, this sucks. So I didn't know the repercussions at the time, bro. I knew eventually someone was going to come knocking, don't get me wrong, but I just had it. I was like, bro, let me just do my time, whatever it is. Do I want to do another 3 years of this or 5 years in prison? And at that point, my life was so fucked. I'm like, give me the 5. I can't do this anymore, bro. I can't survive. I can't make the money. I can't do this. I have no life. I was at one of those points where I was like, I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. So, a little less than a week passes, and I got a little living room / den area with bay windows by the front of my house. So I fell asleep watching TV that night. And mind you, this is like 4:30 a.m., 5 o'clock. I'm laying on the couch and I'm woken up by flashlights through the window. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? So I get up. I'm like, hello? He's like, yeah, you Charlie? I was like, I don't know. Who's asking? He's like, yeah, it's Sheriff. We got a warrant. I said, okay. Let me see it. I just wanted to see my name. I couldn't fake it. They had my face on the paperwork right there. It's not like I was running or anything, bro. You know, I'm in Lily White Sayville. I'm not running around Sayville causing some manhunt. So, I was a little taken back how it happened, though, because as soon as I unlocked the door, this is 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to say there was at least a dozen of them. Mossbergs, MP5s, it almost looked like their whole armory coming in a lily white house at 4:35 in the morning, pointing, each one of them had something pointed towards my family member's door. My mother and father are sleeping in that room. My autistic brother's sleeping in that room. My sister's sleeping in that room. Every single door had a gun pointed at them. They were going through my whole house. They didn't open the doors, believe it or not. I guess it was one of those things like plain sight where they didn't open every door. They just, what they could see. And sure enough, they took me back to Nassau on a lovely ride. And I think personally, you know, that was the one. I think the judge was good-hearted in a way with that because he could have done it in broad daylight. He could have brought that whole squad when I was across the street from a elementary school, mind you. So he could have brought that whole squad at the beginning of the school day, at the end of the school day. For some reason, they specifically did it at 5 a.m. I don't know, it's just because they know I'd be there, whatever the reason was. But they took me in. He didn't even barely talk to me. Yeah, hey, how you doing, Mr. Pogorski? Yep, okay. See you next month. Didn't even talk to me. Put me in the bullpen, sat there all day, took me back, got me processed. And that's what started my Nassau County Jail experience, so to speak. So,
how long did it take you to get resentenced on the violation?
Never got resentenced, believe it or not.
So he just had you stay in so there was no new sentencing. It was just you have to fulfill your probation there?
Nothing.
So what is that, 3 years?
Crickets. I shit you not, bro.
So was that in like the original court documents then that if you violated, you would finish that term? I thought there would have to be some type of violation.
That's exactly what I thought, bro. Because when I violated, I said to myself, common sense, let me do my time, whatever I got to do. If I got to do 5, let me do it. I'm not doing another 3 years of this, bro. I can't. Let me try and get 2/3 good, whatever. I'll figure it out. I didn't care. That's what I thought. So I get processed as Nassau County. I don't know if you're familiar with Nassau County, but I think it was about 3,000 inmates, you know, because it takes all of Nassau, obviously. It's the only jail there. Suffolk County, I think, has 2, Yaphank and Riverhead. So going to Nassau, and our pod, I believe, had about 50 people in each pod. And obviously, they did it by seniority. You know, I don't know how prison works. I didn't do hard prison time, but They did by seniority. So as soon as you come in, you got a bunkie right away. You got a bunkie, and you're in there until your seniority comes up to where a single opens and you go up. Mm-hmm. So got a bunkie. I'm sitting there. I'm not going to lie. I'm shitting myself. I'm like, okay. Reality kicked in. Here I am. So 1 month goes by. Oh, I got my court date. I'm going to know my fate. Sat in the bullpen for 9 hours. Didn't see me. Got on the bus back. Next month. Got a court date. 44. Let's go. Okay. Sat in the bullpen for 9 hours. This went on for almost a year and a half.
They're deliberately fucking with you.
Deliberately. And I didn't know it. I had no idea, bro. I thought, they're so backed up with cases, they don't have time to see me. You know, because I didn't really gain friends in jail. You know, I tried to keep to myself as much as possible, but I guess he was trying to teach me a lesson. But one day, finally, when it was, I don't know, I want to say it was about 15, 16 months maybe, something around that end, I got a court date. I had no idea what was going on. And he just gave me the spiel. He said, "You learn your lesson?" I said, "Learn my lesson? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm waiting for you to tell me. What am I doing here?" He's like, "Well, you know, I don't see you as a career criminal." You know, I guess he might have taken heart to me. I don't really know, bro. He tells me flat out, you know, "I'm going to mark you time served right now at this moment. And I'm going to send you on your way. But if you come back here ever again, you'll never see the light of day." I was like, "Well, okay, I won't come back here. Trust me."
No more probation, nothing.
Nothing. So I literally, by the grace of God, and I think it had to do with a big part of it, you know, towards the end of the jail experience. I think a part of it was I showed him some sympathy because he had a family member. I think his father passed away. So my mother, God bless her soul, she had the great idea of, let's send him something. So, what do you mean send him something? This guy fucking hates me. Hey, let's send him a little something. I'm like, "What do you think?" "I don't know. Send him a card, write him a little something. Ma, whatever you think, go ahead." And it was about 2 months after that where I actually got released. So I definitely think that had to do with me and my release. It helped. But I can't tell you exactly why he did what he did. I believe it was to teach me a lesson. It was a scary lesson because, how could he know what would happen to me in there? And, bro, Nassau County was a nightmare. Overpopulated. All the hallways. Imagine an ER where beds are waiting in the hallway. That's how this was. They were so overcrowded and had no open bunks. It was just, MRSA was outbreaking. It was disgusting. And I was in there during Hurricane Sandy, but mind you. So I was 2 weeks where no COs could leave. So they couldn't get reinforcements. So they locked everybody in their cells. No showers, no yard, no mess hall, no nothing. Locked us in. Absolutely nothing. And it was treacherous. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I had my experiences in there, but, you know, again, I am one of the lucky ones, so to speak, because I could have done a lot worse. He could have laid the hammer on me, and I don't know exactly what did it, but he felt the need not to.
Well, see, that's the dark side of the criminal justice system, how much power they have,
Bro.
Which no one will ever admit that they move strings like that, but that's like diesel therapy, like with what I went through, moving to different prisons and this. There's someone pulling those strings making that happen.
Dude, and it's crazy how they can. No one's going to stop them.
Yeah.
And that messed with me psychologically, bro. Like, I wasn't expecting to see what I saw. You know, again, I am not a career criminal. I didn't do hard time, but, you know, that shit was crazy in there, man.
What's something that you'll never forget that you saw in there?
I mean, I would probably say one of the worst things was, one of the most disgusting things I'll give you was the MRSA outbreak. This kid was in there. I think he was about 22. He got vehicular manslaughter. He got drunk, wrapped his car around the pole, and killed his best friend in the seat. It's how it always works. You need to let, you know, it's never the driver that gets it. But he was a wrestler in college. So that came about. He came in. He was a new guy. Went in his bunk. His bunkie got staph infection. He got staph, MRSA. Next two guys got it. One guy had to cut off his leg below the kneecap because it was on his calf. That was probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. When you could see and experience a staph infection oozing from somebody's leg with blood, and how everybody's got to be locked in for days because they got to sanitize the place, which, let's be honest, they really don't sanitize the place. But I would say one of the things that really woke me up in there was there was an inmate, dude, very erratic. I don't know if he was hopped up on something or just came from the med center or whatever. He, very erratic, wouldn't lock in. So, 2 big COs coming over, manhandle him around. They literally pick up this dude because he started jumping on the COs, and they body slam this dude like I've never seen. Head first, down, laying there. After 10 seconds of laying there, seizing viciously. So they take, and mind you, it took 5 minutes for them to take him out. They literally leave him there. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, I'm stuck in this environment. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And so finally, after, and they're sitting there like, yeah, bro, telling the guy he's faking it. Yeah, cut the shit. I'm like, okay, this guy's seizing here. You just slammed his head. It's busted open. Found out 2 days later the guy was in a coma and died in his coma. That was really a reality check for me. I'm like, holy shit, I got to stay away. One thing I learned in there that some of the guys talked about was the 3 Gs. No gays, no gambling, no gangs. So after that, it really, again, I was a newbie. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I really stuck to that. And for the rest of my bid, just kept to myself, worked out, did my thing. But, besides the food, we all know what the food could be. Because, mind you, I don't know how commissary is in the feds or prison, but county commissary is a joke. It's sweets, peanut butter, and toiletries. That's all it is. You can't smoke, nothing. Because I think in some prisons they do cigs on commissary.
Not in the feds, but
Not in the feds.
States,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha, yeah. So I didn't have the luxuries. Bro, people were begging. Bro, get me out of here. Put me on the bus already. I want to go up because, bro, the mystery meat, the food that was there, it was god-awful. Food poisoning going all over the place, so.
What was the worst meal you think you ever ate there?
Oh, bro, I think it was rat meat. I shit you not. It's literally every Monday, a tray, your rice, your peas, Jell-O, and I guess trying to emulate a goulash, but it was chunky, fatty meat with veins all through it. I didn't know what it was, and I ate it once and never ate it again. I lost like 40 pounds in there because I couldn't do it. So, I would say probably that would be the absolute worst thing food-wise. And then I got creative. You know the deal. We make those dryer burritos. I don't know if you ever did those.
With the tortillas?
Yeah. We had to make. We didn't get tortillas.
Oh, you have to make it with
bread.
Bread. They would make tortillas.
Literally, got to take the bread, add milk to it, flatten it out, put it in the bread bag.
Or they would use chips as a tortilla sometimes too.
You can mix chips in that too, and then you put. They had like a beefaroni kind of thing, elbow pasta with some chopped meat. I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. That's a taco to me. Let's go. So you do that, put it in the sock, stick it in the dryer. Then eventually too many people did it, and then they took that away. Fuck you, stop doing it. So got creative, though. You made birthday cakes and all that stuff. So, luckily I didn't really have it in too bad with anybody, but funny story. I felt like I almost lost my life, my first bunkie, because when commissary comes in, they come in all the same brown bags. And, oh, God, this was scary. So the 2 brown bags for me and my bunkie were right next to each other. So I know I ordered Pop-Tarts, so I took a Pop-Tart. And I took the wrong bag. I took my bunkie's Pop-Tart, who I had no idea who the fuck this was. Massive black dude from Uniondale, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, whoa, here we go. I'm like, it's my bag, bro. I took my bag. So this was at like 11 at night, mind you. So I literally, in the middle of the night, got up, went down to the steel toilet, took a bar of soap and just put it in a sock just in case, because I didn't know. I wasn't a shiv maker. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just remember hearing somewhere, yo, state bar of soap in a sock. That'll do something. So that was probably, that was the scary part of it. But, other than that, I did, I survived in there. A lot of guys had it way worse than me, bro. I got to say, I'm thankful for the experience I have. As shitty as it was, it was a wake-up call. But, even in the end, I still, in a sense, didn't even wake up after that, after I got released. I did happen to catch another small charge.
Oh, man.
Nothing crazy. You know, I was driving to, which now it's laughing at it. I'm driving to Jersey on the turnpike, and I pull over to a rest stop. I loved my weed, so I was puffing on my bud, you know. And this was before it was legal. And sure enough, in a beat-up minivan, 6 dudes, 6, I kid you not, this wasn't just an undercover, 6 dudes in a beat-up caravan slide open the door, roll up on me, guns drawn. I'm sitting there smoking. Yeah, what's up? Oh, let's go, get out. Manhandling me and everything. So I sat in a Jersey cell for, mind you, my sister's waiting outside, freaking out in the car. Sit there for about 6 hours. And guess what? Got put on conditional discharge, probation. I'm like, oh, shit. Are you kidding me? Luckily, because I lived in another state, they were way more lenient.
Imagine if you got caught in...
I'd be done.
Oh,
bro,
man.
think about that. If I was 20 minutes east in New York, past the border, but in the turnpike, I'd be done. Just over weed. So, again, by the grace of God, that saved me. But that was a lot easier. That was a conditional discharge where I went to Jersey like once or twice, pissed in a cup, and that was it. But
how was your relationship with your parents? How did it evolve during your jail sentence and getting out? Did it differ at all from before you got in trouble to after? Did they look at you differently?
Well, I don't say they looked at me differently, but this was after they got divorced. So tensions were high, don't get me wrong. But, it ripped apart parts of our family, no doubt. Like, my extended family didn't like my stepfather for many reasons, this and that. It blew up to this whole thing. So it did make some more tension, so to speak. But, you know, as far as them, you know, let's say, you know, looking down upon me or thinking worse of me, I don't think that. They were just like, here we go again. When are you going to fucking learn? And I still didn't learn my lesson because when I was on conditional probation, I still went to bars. And which led to the aha moment for me, the moment where it was like a light switch. I'm at a local bar in Suffolk County. I'd say about 50 people in the bar, something like that. And another brawl happens. Another brawl. And I'm sitting there and I throw one punch. I put the guy to the ground and I stopped. I'm like, as soon as I connected, I'm like, I got scared as shit. I'm like, I'm done here. I'm going to step back and watch. So I literally watched the whole brawl. I wish I had a camera. If I saw guys ganging up like 2, 3 on one, I'd get at it. Yeah, I'd pull them off. Then the cops show up. I'm like, oh, shit. So I sprinted. I'm gone. And the fight went down the block to an intersection. So I shit you not, bro. I don't know if you know The Outsiders.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, the movie. It was like the old kind of like 60s, 70s kind of look gangs with the leather jackets. That's what it felt like. You had about 8 of us and 8 of them. I'm like, oh, shit. If my boys here are getting their ass beat, I can't just sit back and do nothing. So I'm standing here. My buddy to the left of me is standing in the center of our line with a solid Louisville Slugger bat. And 2 of their guys from their line charge us. And my boy, he's a lefty, standing to the left of me. He swings. The guy in front of him ducks and hits me directly in the head. I'm talking the spot of that bat where you want to hit a home run out of the park connected directly with my head. Now, I don't know if you could tell, I've taken a lot of blows over the year to this side of the face, so my right side of my face is kind of a little fucked up, but that was the aha moment for me. I actually went home and went to bed right away. I was drunk, just got hit in the head with a Louisville Slugger bat. Bro, I'm talking the hardest swing you could possibly imagine. And I went to sleep right after. Fully concussed is without a doubt. So I wake up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why do I have a headache? I forgot. I honestly forgot. Thank God I woke up, bro. But I look in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, yeah, bro. I can't even explain to you the welt and the blood, the dry blood on my face. My mother was crying hysterically when she saw me that. But that was the determining factor where that was 1 out of the 4 times, the last time, where I got hit in the head, and I'm thankful to be alive. Just being in that situation, that was the aha moment for me, bro.
Do you think life came full circle because you got in trouble because you got into a fight where
a brawl?
Someone suffered severe injuries, and now it got turned around on you,
bro. Bro.
It's the universe, karma, that whole aspect.
I get goosebumps thinking about. I feel it right now because it's like your journey started with a brawl. Your old journey's ending with a brawl, but your new one's beginning after the brawl. And you're 100% right. It's full circle, bro, because, you know, that was, again, one of 4 times where I took blows to the head in life where I should have been dead. And that was it. That did it for me. So a light switch went off there and said, yeah, I'm done. Literally dropped every single friend. I stopped going out. To this day, I don't go out to bars. I do nothing, bro. And I just completely turned my life around and focused on what the hell am I going to do in life? What am I doing here? Why am I here? And why did God just literally put another lifeline in my lap? I should have been dead. Could have been dead in jail. Could have been dead the other times I took blows to the head. Should have been dead here. An inch lower, that would have hit me like right here, bro. Why am I here? And that was the switch for me, definitely.
And were you working at the time, or this is when you first start getting into a actual stable career?
Well, the problem was I couldn't get anything, bro.
Because of your record?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I got warehouse jobs, sweeping, forklift in the back, making other people rich. I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I can't do this. I feel like a slave right now doing this job. Like I was on the inside with the COs, bro. I felt the same exact way, and I'm like, I can't. There's got to be more to this. So after bouncing around job to job, because I was getting laughed at, bro, I'd fill out applications online. I'd get a call back just for somebody to say, no, bro, we're not going to hire a felon. Sorry. I said, okay, you could have emailed that, let's be honest. Other ones, you know, they don't even respond to you. And, you know, nowadays they have AI that just wipes you out of contention altogether. Before they even reach the hiring manager, they'll literally, we'll run your social. We'll run the answer to your criminal question box. Yeah, we're not even going to move you forward. And you'll get ghosted. But regardless, I did finally find a sales position. I was talking to Matt out there about it, where it was Long Island's largest trophy and sports jersey producer and provider. Great gig, bro. I mean, the money in that is unbelievable. All the high schools and middle schools all over Long Island, this one company made, bringing in millions. So I started on the floor doing retail, selling equipment and stuff. Because I have experience in sports, I did pretty well. And I said, all right, now I'm going to start selling stuff a little more. So they gave me a couple books, you know, accounts, you know, to try and sell and, you know, upsell and all that. And I was it was a family. It was an owner. And then he had 9 kids and 37 grandchildren, mind you. This was the size of this company. So time and point came where I was crushing all of the heirs of the company, so to speak. I was crushing in sales numbers. And the time and point came in a promotion, and I was ready to take it. And I didn't get it. I didn't even talk to me about it, nothing. One day I just heard one of the siblings come in and say, yeah, I'm starting that spot next week. I'm like, oh, really? I just crushed you in numbers last year. Whatever. That was the determining factor where I put in my 2 weeks. And I made the choice. I will never, ever move up or own this company in my life. There will always be a ceiling. There will always be that plateau no matter what I do. Could it have been because of my criminal record? I don't know. I think it was. I sure as hell think because the guy knew I had a record, he gave me a chance. I was just a stand-up guy. I wasn't an asshole, so... he gave me a shot, and I produced. But in the end, it didn't matter, bro. Because when you get family members, friends, employees, whoever it may be, that don't have a dirty rap sheet compared to a guy that does, not every time, majority of the time, they're going to take the guy that's clean. Mm-hmm. And that decision was the moment in life I said, I am never, ever working for somebody else again. And never have since then.
So you quit that right away?
I put my 2 weeks in, but I honestly didn't even last 2 weeks. I left like 3 days after that. Yeah.
And was your next transition what you're doing now?
Next transition was I was, believe it or not, I still had my real estate license. So my business partner, Tim, he's a broker. We still are to this day. You know, especially when my father passed, I went under his tutelage, his guidance, and he taught me the game of real estate, front to back. And we were pretty successful. Rentals, property management, sales, 1031 exchanges, the whole 9 yards, working with investors primarily. But then, believe it or not, how it came to be was, I'll start off with this story and maybe we could transition. One of his daughters wanted to be a corrections officer. That's exactly what me and him said. Really? Let's hold the phone for a second. And he'll say, the words that come up, you're 90 pounds, soaking wet, skinny as a railing. You want to be a CO. Hey, I love your ambitions, but let's look into this a little bit. So my business partner, Tim, did a deep dive into the staffing opportunities. Then he started looking at, other opportunities. And then he started looking at, wait a minute, well, these are the duties of this guy. This is what he does. This is what a CO does. And then stories started coming up like, well, that's fucked up. Well, and then the transition to the data came, well, that can't be right. That many people are going back to prison every year? And it just snowballed into a massive 2-year research project of the entire criminal justice system front to back. I'm talking everything from arrest, incarceration, release, drug rehab, sober houses, the whole 9 yards. Attorneys, bounty hunters, detectives, juries, every inch of the criminal justice system for 2 years. My partner primarily, but he brought his entrepreneurial mindset in his business because he'll tell you, he was a Series 7 stockbroker, licensed public insurance adjuster. He's currently a real estate broker, started many businesses. So that was the point in time where he said, this is out of control, bro. Something's got to be done about this. So we were actually, before this, during the process of this, we were looking to kind of start a business as LegalZoom, where we help people. We give them packages to start a business. Here's your LLC, here's your corporation, here's your EIN, the whole 9 yards. Then we said, bro, regular citizens don't need this more than cons do. Cons are getting shunned left and right. They face more obstacles coming out of the joint than anybody in the world. They can't get jobs. It's almost a point of survival that these guys need entrepreneurship. And I didn't even realize it. I'm like, you know what? I lived that. I literally just lived that, to where my rap sheet, my past, my dirty criminal past, so to speak, prevented me from getting gainful opportunities in life. And that's what formed into the book he originally wrote, which was Plan After the Can, which has morphed into something more than I could possibly imagine. And it's making waves because I lived it, he researched it. His daughter, actually, the one that was a CO, became a forensic psychologist, believe it or not, so stayed within the criminal justice system. And together, our trifecta turned it into a massive collaboration, which is what brought us here today, which is crazy to think about because never in my life did I think that after sitting in county jail, I was going to come full circle again and help people that I was in there with, help people exactly what I went through and the obstacles I faced when they got released. Never thought it would happen, to be honest with you.
Now, do you think that if you never lived that and experienced that, it wouldn't have had the same effect where it kind of clicked together when his daughter said she wanted to become a correctional officer?
100%. If I didn't go through what I went through, if I didn't go to that college because of my girlfriend and wanted to stay local, if I didn't get into that brawl and get arrested for a felony assault, if I didn't go on probation and violate on purpose, if I didn't do the whole thing and have the second brawl, get hit in the head with a bat, almost die, if none of that happened, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be working for a boss, I'll be honest with you. I would have been in the back of a warehouse something, or maybe in some boring-ass sales job with no purpose. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to hate on jobs. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But we, Tim and I, actually developed this program to where it can be for everybody. There's no excuse.
That's awesome.
If you want it. That's what it comes down to. We can bring the horse to the water. Can't make him drink it, bro. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I think now would be a great time to bring on your business partner.
Now is the time to bring on the mastermind, so to speak. I think that's a good segue, if you don't mind.
So now we have the duo here. You
That's
guys
it,
are
bro.
both, he was saying that you guys wear this all the time when you're doing your project and you're on the streets.
I paid him to say that. You gotta say that. And nice shit about me, too.
Of course.
So
yeah.
Charlie segued us with how you guys met. And I'm curious, well, we knew you guys were together for a long period of time in each other's lives, but how you guys met to form your business. What was your opinion of him learning about his run-ins with the criminal justice system?
Well, I was always friends with his old man. Okay, we had a crazy history together.
Yep.
Did a lot of, interesting stuff. Okay, but never got caught doing anything interesting, though. Okay?
Yes.
I always believe one thing. Okay, anyone who gets jammed up is either stupid or unlucky.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends who come out, okay, wound up being well off because they took that experience and turned it into gold.
Right.
If it's done right, because they're forced into self-employment.
Right.
Which is what the whole premise of what we're doing together is. This son of a bitch over here, when he got jammed up and went to go visit him, he wrote me this.
You came to visit me. I got to say, I give him props.
I did.
Yes.
Bear in mind that I was a little hot when I came to visit you, so I got to be careful coming to visit there. But regardless, okay, he wrote me a letter, and the letter he wrote was...
I forgot about that.
Well, I didn't. Yeah. The letter he wrote was exposing whatever, his ambition. And that letter was like more of an impetus to me to say, hey, you know what, man? When you get out, what do you want to do? And he was like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to get gung-ho. You're going to start a business together.
Do something.
Right, and it didn't dawn on me back then that might be the answer to a lot of guys coming out of the joint. That a lot of times the employers shit on you, okay, and you get nothing, nothing good happens.
Right,
So
I told them about the Port Chef Sports.
Oh, you did tell him that
with
story.
My denial of moving up in the ranks, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Charlie was telling us that this all stemmed from your daughter wanting to be a correctional
Absolutely.
officer. Do you think that if she never wanted that, then you guys wouldn't be here together?
Absolutely would not be here.
Nope.
What happened was we actually were fomenting a business model called Start Your Biz.
Right.
Start Your Biz basically was how we take different people, not convicts at this point, regular people, college grads. I had 4 daughters. They're in college, going to, getting their doctorates, all that, wonderful stuff. That system works very well for them,
Right.
because when you don't have a criminal record behind you, you can do anything you want. There's no limits to your imagination. Okay, but when you do have a criminal record, your choices get limited, but the imagination goes even higher. Because, I don't know if Charlie has enlightened you, like convicts, basically they're in a position that they're more willing to take risks. A lot of illegal hustles got these guys locked up and jammed up, okay? We take those illegal hustles, turn them into legal hustles. We actually show guys who are very ambitious, something we can't teach people. We show them how to take that ambition and turn it into a very lucrative business. And you talk about the curb numbering business at all?
I didn't talk about the program at all.
We put guys in business for $1 to $5K because it's the only thing they have. They don't have $1 million to start a business. We have guys doing pet waste removal. They're picking up dog shit and making $1,500 a week. And they're so happy because, Jesus, they didn't think it could happen. Same thing with curb numbering services. Same thing with landscaping. We have basically 26 different manuals that we don't sell out there. We're not going out there. I'm a publisher. I'm an author. I'm the greatest. Take it easy. Okay? A lot of the guys that get jammed up, okay, they need a real direction in life. They're getting shitted on by guys who don't want to hire them, landlords that tell them they're a piece of shit. I got other guys who, even with girlfriends and boyfriends, some girls like the bad guys, other girls stay away from them like they're plague. Oh, I ran your record behind your back, and no, we're not going to be dating. I'm not going to bring you home to my mommy and daddy. Not today. Okay? Meanwhile, could be a great guy. Could have got you, but then again, this is not about getting rich either, Ian. Guys don't come out of the joint wanting to get rich. Not the guys I knew. Guys I knew came out of the joint, got crapped on, and what'd they have to do? They had to go out of their way to start their own business. Not because they wanted to get rich, because they wanted to survive.
Right. That's
okay.
the
And how it started with my daughter, she comes at me and says, Dad, I want to be a CO. You want to be a CO? You're 90 pounds soaking wet. Are you kidding me over here? She says, come on, Dad. They got the benefits. It's a good job. They get to boss around guys. Whoa. Hold on, baby. Let Daddy do a little research. I talked to him. We was partnering up, and we're doing the Start Your Biz business. Mind you this.
Right, the one with the corporation.
Yeah.
LLC.
Unbelievable. Like, it doesn't even
It's
click.
unbelievable. Right.
So I'm like, all right, hey, Charlie, I need to take a digression right now. My daughter's going to become a CO wacko. We got to, hold on. So I go in there, started analyzing it, showing her all the little corruption parts, the little things that I found, not much. All of a sudden, you start doing a deep dive. I mean, a deep dive. Now, I was in a position in life that I could take a couple of years off and do a deep dive. Yep. I did a real deep dive. I went involved in that criminal justice system to the point of gate money, who the players are, the mass incarcerated from the DA, the cops of the blue mafia, okay? All this stuff starts coalescing as you're going through it, and you realize, holy shit, what do you do when you're jammed up? What's your solution? How the hell do you get out of this mess? And a lot of guys who came out tried to get jobs and they got crapped on. They got felon-friendly jobs. Oh, felon-friendly job. Hey, I'll hire you. Of course, employees that want to take full advantage of you will open up their doors and welcome you in. Licensing boards don't want to give you a license. They don't like the competition. So the good moral character requirements stop a lot of guys from getting licensed. You want to be an electrician when you get a felony. Whoa, good luck on that. Yep. Okay, you're going to get some problems. So these guys go underground, but they go underground with their own businesses. Right. And a lot of guys don't learn, okay, when you go to high school and you go to college, they don't really teach how to start a business from the ground up. Oh, yeah. They just don't. It just doesn't come up. You got to learn that from the streets and then from a lot of books. But you got to learn it somewhere. So after I got my daughter straightened out, it turns out that I said, hey, honey, let's get a compromise. You like the criminal justice system? Okay, let's get you in some. So she became a forensic psychologist rather than a CEO. And regardless, she actually works on trying to make things happen differently with inmates. But a lot of times with these inmates, the ambition is either there or it's not there. Right. Our program works very well if executed. Because why? Because you got to have that will. Once you have that will, forget it. When you get out of the joint, I'm sure when you got out of the joint, you're pretty lost. I would imagine.
Yeah, I went to work for someone else, Whole Foods, and I was like him, where I felt like the guys that are lazy get promoted, and the hardworking ones necessarily don't, and everything has to go by their timeline. You could be, excel at what you're doing, but if it doesn't fit their timeline of you got to do this you got to wait 2 years in this role. Whereas in the job I have now, there's no barrier on time. Right. Like I can do whatever I want, and like I could go as high as I work to get there.
I tell my daughters the same thing I tell anybody I do business with, okay, that wants to become self-employed. You can spend your time in life making somebody else rich. Okay, you're exchanging your time to actually make their dreams in life come true. The minute you stop doing that and start doing it for yourself, and yeah, is it riskier? You bet your ass it is. Mm-hmm. Is the rewards higher? You bet your ass it is. But the difference is, again, being that let's say you're a guy newly released inmate, you take more risks, you got more control of your time, you have unlimited potential, you don't have to worry about racism. Racism does not exist in the self-employment arena.
That's the truth.
No one cares if you're red, black, Chinese, Jewish, Christian. None of that stuff matters. Ugly, pretty, skinny, fat, doesn't matter. All that matters in the self-employment arena is winning and losing, okay? Success and failure. That's the only thing that matters. If Jay-Z moved into a racist neighborhood and he right next door to a $10 million house, no white guy in the world is going to look at Jay-Z like, oh, that guy's a N, He just became a Martian. He's green. Green is the rest of us, okay? And that's the truth, okay? And I tell that to a lot of guys that come out of the joint because they don't realize, listen, you're not limited by that. There's no limit at all. The only limit you have is what you want in life. And I'll tell you something else, the advantage. You're 4 times more likely to be richer, according to the Small Business Administration, SBA, okay? If you're an employee, you're worth about $90,000 after 4 years. A self-employed guy after 4 years, on average, worth $380,000, okay? And the greatest thing about that is a guy who got jammed up, did his time, okay, committed the crime. Most of them fess up. They did the crime. They did their time. They came out. Their reward was being forced into the most lucrative arena out there. It's called self-employment. Our country was started based on self-employment, based on basically revolution, not evolution. Unfortunately, in the prison genre field, you got a lot of evolutionary people. Nothing against the Creative Evolution Studio. Okay? You're evolving into revolutionary. Yes. Okay? The difference is a lot of do-gooders, I call them, that they want to help everybody, which is great, but they're so restricted by rules and regulations of their own organizations. Nothing gets done. So we decided, me and this sick bastard, okay, decided to go out and hit the people directly. I mean, geez, probation officers, parole officers, we're there, okay? LA, Tennessee, New York. Why? Because we give a shit, okay? It's not about just the people. Okay, excuse me, not about just the money. It's always about the people, okay? And when you start listening to people that actually get out of the joint or on parole, holy shit, the stories that flow out of those people, because you start realizing the horror of the system, but the exhilaration, the fact that Ian Bick, you would not be here today had it not been for your experience. You are a self-employed entrepreneur, okay? I'm sitting in your studio, Okay, you made a conscious decision, and if you didn't have prison experience behind you, you probably wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't have any of this.
Exactly.
Nothing, bro. It's scary to think
I have
that way.
everything I have now because of prison. And you know, I rebuilt my life after prison with a regular job.
Right.
But I would be stuck working for someone else and miserable and confined to when I had to wake up and this and that, and you have no purpose. You could work for someone but not have purpose.
Well, that's the main thing I tell a lot of guys and girls. Mostly, a lot of parolees are girls lately. But, okay, it's freedom. What is freedom?
That's it.
Freedom is absolute, okay? When you're self-employed, you're completely 100% free. You get to control the entire experience, the whole ride. Okay, good or bad. You are free to be as poor as you want to be and go bankrupt. That's self-employment. If you can get through those failures, you're going to get to the success. It's a natural byproduct. It's like if you take care of people, guess what happens? You take care of people. The reward you get is a blessing back. And that blessing back is going to be whatever success you want. You realize one day success is not just money. Success is people. Success is touching people and changing people's lives. Okay? To be a real change agent, you have to be a person that could revolutionize people's minds. Not just a slow evolution, because the evolution problem with evolution is it gets derailed all the time. When I say revolution, I don't mean go out there and, you know, with guns. It's more books, okay, rather than bullets, okay? It's more education, okay? But we do education not just with reading, because a lot of guys don't like to read books.
Right.
We made damn sure.
Right, so pretty much, you know, in the gist of it, our program, Plan After the Can, it's an online interactive course. You got interactive videos with Tim instructing, links, sources, works, the whole works. We show people why they have no choice, and it's their best chance to start a business with their criminal record. How, step by step, to start any business they want. And then, for extra guidance, what businesses they can start right as soon as they get out that cost $1,000 to $5,000 to get started up, but can actually realistically generate $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Yeah, and don't forget, Charlie, we're going to make sure that the NPOs, these righteous people who are very good are going to cough up those government grant dollars.
That would be nice. That's the plan.
To the convicts.
Yes.
Okay, we're not allowed to say convicts?
you can say convicts.
Oh, we can say convicts. You know, we say proud felon. You get, but that's all right.
No,
I mean, they're doing that, though, with the marijuana industry. They're
Absolutely.
prioritizing the individuals that have a record, which is great.
Yeah.
That you want to have more options. Like to be, to be on this show, you got to have a record and or go through something. And
we both have records.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the difference is, look, you don't get judged on your record in the self-employment world. Okay, that's another thing about being free. Okay, everyone has their circumstances of why they're forced. When I was young, I was forced into self-employment. Okay, there were certain circumstances in my life that I was not employable at a certain level. Okay, unemployable. So at that point, you had no choice but to survive. Survival means get up every morning, wake your ass up, and get out and do what you got to do. And whenever you feel uncomfortable about something, you're on the right path. Like when you're freaking out and you're thinking, what the hell am I doing? And your family hates your guts for what you're doing, and your family thinks this guy's a mental patient.
Success is not comfortable.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not. But once you get to that certain level, uncomfortableness becomes comfortable.
Correct.
So, Tim, let's break it down, the elevator pitch for our listeners, because our listeners fit the exact demographic you guys cater to. And these are a lot of individuals who have gotten out of prison. I get a ton of DMs of people looking to find success, looking to break away from their job. They go to your website, they call you up, they email you. What happens? How long does it take to get themselves established? What can they realistically expect working with you guys?
Okay, the first thing that happens is if they're criminally impacted, okay, yeah, we read them at probation or parole. We give it to them. At this point, we're looking for guinea pigs, okay? We're working on monetizing it for the criminal justice system, but the more people we met, the more we realized, you know what, let's get proof of concept. Let's get at least 500 guys. They take a course. The course basically shows them exactly where they are at the starting point,
Right.
what they've been through. My God, the whole entire criminal justice system broken down.
That's the why. Why they have no choice to do it.
And how much is that?
Absolutely part of the course. It's going to be part of the. Honestly, it's going to be $5 a month eventually. It's going to be a membership fee. We're going to give 26 courses plus that.
Right.
Because, you know, if a guy comes and out of the joint and he says, what the hell am I going to do? Okay, well, gee, you get a job. There's two choices when you come out of the joint. Get a job or become self-employed. Now, there's a third choice. get a shit job, save up your money, and eventually get your self-employment going. That's usually the one I tell a guy, hey, you just got out of the joint, take a felon-friendly shit job, dead-end job, take it for now if you have to, save up your money. You only need between 1 and 5 if you can. If not, we get the MPOs to actually foot the bill. But I like guys that contribute, so that it looks like they invested interest.
Right.
After they learn the course and why, then they learn actually how. Okay, the how part is going to be more the corporation, the LLC, all the boring bullshit that business owners have to know. Okay.
Well, plus the advertising and marketing and websites and all that stuff. You
Absolutely.
know, we really break it down to, Tim doesn't say this much, but I will. He brings his Wall Street knowledge down to a Main Street level. Not everybody wants to talk about stocks and this and that. It goes over people's heads. It did for me at first, but Tim broke it down to a keep it stupid simple level to where I can actually understand, oh yeah, common stock, this, oh, shareholders, no problem. Now it's completely understandable, and Tim broke that down in a way in the course where anybody could do it. Bro, I was a C&D dumb Polak. If I could do it, anyone could do it watching, I tell you that.
So they take the course, then what happens next? What can they expect?
What they can expect, basically, if they take the course is once they're done with the course and they realize the virtue of being self-employed and the power that it gives them, okay, what they do at that point is pick a business model that works for them. We give a lot of business models, freelancing, pet waste removal, give me some other choices, Charlie.
Well, freelancing, curb numbering, landscaping, handymen, it's a never-ending. We're always adding.
We have 26 of them.
Right.
They were well-researched because you had to find a business model that could be done between $1,000 and $5,000. Nail tech, barber, certain ones that could actually work. And with the licensing, how do we get around the licensing?
Right.
How does a convict in New York, or if they block you on a license, which state do you got to relocate your ass to? Bro, you're self-employed. They don't give you a license in this state, Afangu. You go to the next state. That's how you can't do that when you got a job. You got that flexibility when you're self-employed. You can go to the next state. After they pick that, they start getting proactive in the business. I guide them the whole way, and eventually we'd be partnering up with some of these guys.
So you might invest like a Shark Tank type of
absolutely.
thing.
It's an amazing business model.
It really is.
We're getting involved with the. Eventually, we're going to get involved with the sober homes too, because the drug rehab center. We wrote about some of them, which were frauds.
Oh, they're
that
disgusting.
Banged out, they banged out the Medicare system, the Obama dollars.
Right.
But the only thing with that is, I guess you want to err on the side of caution with like the selling for people's down. Like some people get that bad reputation when it comes to the sober homes.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I know what you're
those
saying.
people that are selling beds and doing
The body brokers.
Yeah, the body
those
brokers.
kind of guys.
Those
Yeah,
type of
we
guys.
wrote about those guys,
Yeah,
bro.
you don't want to ruin a brand by incorporating
Absolutely,
that.
but I will say this much. Okay, I'm a real estate broker for 35 years. I was also a Series 7 stockbroker, 65, 66, licensed financial advisor. I dealt with very opulent people's money, very well-connected, opulent people's money, okay, that they wanted to make sure they stayed. Hold there for a second, Charlie. Like, if this is the law, they did this. They bent it, but they didn't break the law, okay? They learned the legal loopholes and the deductions and stuff that could actually keep them safe in the world we live in. How do you legally not pay taxes?
I think what you're saying is, yes, there are a lot of those nasty labels out there when it comes to sober homes, but when you have the real estate experience behind it that's verifiable.
When you're not a greedy pig, if you decide not to
That's
be a
what it
greedy
comes
ass
down to.
pig,
I like him.
then guess what?
That's what
you're
it
gonna
is,
probably
bro.
help people.
That's it.
Okay, the guys who want to take extra piss tests and say, oh, you got to take another piss test.
Yeah, right.
How much is that piss test going to cost? Oh, shit. Insurance company's paying how much?
Well,
Woo!
you know what I compare that to, and we were talking about like the influencer world, like the creators that put out. So we get, as a creator, you get paid from YouTube ad revenue, this and
Right.
that. But then you have the creators that go and make a Patreon, and then they go and make this. Like the only thing we have is a YouTube membership where it's like $5.
Right.
You can see the videos early. But to go and produce separate content and charge people $20 a month on a fucking Patreon.
I know.
I signed up for the Patreon. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why am I going to make people charge for this content when we're already getting paid from advertisers?
Right.
We don't need. That's just getting greedy at that point, milking it for everything.
Right.
You don't
Well,
need
that's
to do
the
that.
difference.
Yeah.
You put people first, money second. But then again, hey, I'm talking to a con.
Yeah, come on.
Where's your integrity? Where's your morality? Oh, wait a minute. Some of my best business partners ever were convicted criminals. Most of my business partners are felons. okay? And I say that with respect because I know what they've been through. Some justifiable, some not, but I know what they've been through. And the bottom line is that kind of honor, respect you get from people that have been through the shit. Now, people that haven't, they can be more deceptive, but people that have been through the shit, they know the consequences of doing something the wrong way. You follow me? And in this particular arena that we're all in, look, they talk about second chances. Listen, make your own damn second chance. Okay? You want a second chance in life? You're taking one right now, Ian. Here I are. I'm so proud of you because look what you're doing, bro. Look
Thank
around.
you, man.
Okay? This is your second chance. This is your where you're supposed to be. This is your kismet.
Right.
This is your karma, bro. This is like you were supposed to go through that ordeal to get here. We're supposed to wear these crazy orange suits because why? Our message is more important than our egos. Okay? Once you take your ego and shove it under the table and say, listen, we're on the same team. All of us are on the same team. Let's knock out recidivism. But you got to remember, Ian, the minute we solve this problem for all the guys who got jammed up, and all of a sudden there's no more prisons, and there's no more wardens, and there's no more, you could be out of business.
Yeah, right.
You got to be realistic about this. It's not in their best interest to make sure you go from sinner to saint because they'll be out of business. Your success is their failure. Okay. Your failure is their success. Oh, Ian fucked up. All righty. He's coming back. He violated parole. All right. Get to feed my kids this month.
That's it. Absolutely.
Maybe I'll beat his ass, too. What the hell? Why not? You know what?
Well, I'm here.
Just in case. He looked at me a little cocky. I'm going to have to slap him around.
Yeah.
Okay? Blame somebody else, of course.
Yep.
You have that one little camera area that's never filmed. That one little
Cameras don't work.
That one area. Hey, you want to beat down?
That's the truth, bro.
That's the reality of it, yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, and I will say one thing, if I can have liberty here.
Preach.
When I saw you at Tennessee, bro, you did that chomo story where they accused you because of your appearances of being a chomo, and at the time I'm thinking that's retarded. So, good story though.
Right.
But I'm thinking it's all about that how people judge somebody
Right.
based on an appearance that's actually not true. And I was telling you before, I had a similar experience where I was in L.A. and I'm walking down that broad, that walk of fame, walk of shame. As I'm walking down it, I see the stars, and there's one star I come across that's actually empty, but someone actually graffitied in the star. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It says Stain. Stain, if you're out there, shout out to Stain, okay? I just saw you in L.A., okay? And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. No one changes this. No one's coming out of the stores and saying, we should wipe this out. There's no such guy named Stain, okay? I turn around the corner, and what happens? As I'm turning, and I'm filming, by the way. I'm I'm in YouTube now. I'm in the YouTube thing, and I'm filming, talking to people. I'm just yik-yakking. I make that turn around the corner, and bing, what do I walk into? A table laid out, a black guy sitting there, doing something with and I'm like, oh shit, I just walked into a Monty game over here. And it's got $100 bills, and the guy looks me straight in the face, and I'm like, hey, you tape me? Yeah, I'm gonna make you famous. Make famous. You tape me? Give me your phone, now. And my first reaction is, holy shit, man. Look, fuck your mother. I'm a New Yorker. Of course I'm gonna say that. It's the first reaction. There's a guy over there, he's like a Chicano guy, he's got like tats all the way up his, I thought he had like an ear guy, eye drop. He looked fucking mean, okay? Another guy behind me, and I'm thinking, I'm about to get my ass whooped. I'm about to get a beat down here. This is gonna be going down. Won't be the first time I got my ass whooped, okay? 6 times this nose been broken. You don't get this pretty on accident, okay? So I'm sitting there, I'm looking, and all of a sudden, the guy fucking screams at me. Blows my fucking mind. Pedophile! 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 Like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking, and people are starting to react. I'm like, holy shit. So I yell back at this guy, you child rapist! He raped my fucking kid! These 2 big Danish guys are about to whoop his ass. And of course, what did I do? I fucking ran, bro. Okay? Best way not to get your ass kicked, you fucking run. Yeah. Okay? I'm proud to say that. Okay? I was a lot faster those motherfuckers.
Especially in the streets of L.A. when it's packed.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't about to sit there and see if Mike Tyson was hanging around there. Oh, yeah, hey, you guys are fucking great. But, hey, look at that. Zoom.
That tells you how far we're trying to expand this, bro. You know, L.A., Tennessee, New York, going to Florida and Texas soon. You know,
I almost took a beating for you guys. Okay, just
That's awesome.
for the people, bro.
for the people.
That's it.
Gentlemen, thank you guys so much for coming on the show
course,
today. Real pleasure. Love the energy. Tib, you're great. Charlie, thank you, man. Incredible story. And hopefully this drums up some business for you guys and helps people.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody's interested in, you know, checking out the course, you know, feel free to go to our website, fill out the form, get started. You know, give us a sub if you don't mind.
Yeah,
and,
we'll have your links and stuff in the description and whatnot.
Awesome.
And thank you for the gift, too.
Of course, bro. As always, thank you for having us.
I'm like VD, I get around.